In the heart of a desolate, moonlit night, a lone car sped down a winding, tree-lined road. The driver, Mark, had just finished a long day of work and was eager to reach the comfort of his home. The only sound in the car was the soft hum of the engine and the eerie rustling of leaves in the wind. As he navigated the dark road, a thick fog began to roll in, obscuring his vision. Mark adjusted his grip on the steering wheel, trying to shake off the unsettling feeling that crept over him. He had heard stories of strange occurrences on this road, but he always dismissed them as urban legends. Tonight, however, was different. The fog grew thicker, and the road seemed to stretch endlessly into the abyss. Just when Mark began to doubt his sense of direction, he noticed a figure emerging from the mist ahead. A hitchhiker, seemingly materialized from the night itself, stood at the side of the road. Dressed in tattered clothing, the stranger extended a hand, thumb outstretched in the universal gesture of a hitchhiker in need. Against his better judgment, Mark slowed down and pulled over. The hitchhiker approached the car, and Mark could see a pale face, gaunt and haggard, shrouded in shadows. He couldn't make out the man's features clearly. "Thanks for stopping," the hitchhiker muttered, his voice raspy and distant. Mark hesitated for a moment, then decided to offer assistance. "Where are you headed?" "Anywhere but here," the hitchhiker replied cryptically. With a hint of unease, Mark unlocked the passenger door, and the stranger slid into the car. An icy chill seemed to envelop the vehicle as the door closed. The hitchhiker settled into the seat, his presence sending shivers down Mark's spine. As they continued down the foggy road, the hitchhiker became more talkative. He spoke of strange, otherworldly encounters, of places that existed outside of time, and of beings that defied comprehension. Mark couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread as he listened. Time passed, but the fog showed no signs of dissipating. Mark couldn't see any landmarks, and his GPS had lost its signal. Panic began to gnaw at the edges of his mind. "We must be close to civilization," Mark said, attempting to reassure himself. The hitchhiker's eerie chuckle sent a wave of fear coursing through Mark's veins. "Civilization, my friend, is not always what it seems." Suddenly, the hitchhiker's face contorted into a grotesque mask of horror, causing Mark to swerve the car. When Mark looked back at the passenger seat, the hitchhiker had disappeared. The seat was empty, as though he had never been there at all. Mark slammed on the brakes and brought the car to a screeching halt. He jumped out, searching frantically for any sign of the hitchhiker. There was nothing but the thick fog and the eerie silence of the night. A chilling wind cut through Mark's clothes as he stood alone on the deserted road. He was overcome with a sense of foreboding, realizing that he was no longer in control of the situation. Desperation set in, and he got back into the car, determined to escape the eerie fog. As Mark drove on, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The fog pressed in on all sides, making it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. His heart pounded in his chest as he realized that the road was changing, twisting and turning in impossible ways. Then he saw it, a flickering light in the distance. Relief washed over him as he sped toward it, hoping to find help or civilization. But as he drew closer, the light revealed itself to be a dilapidated, abandoned gas station. Mark's sense of dread returned with a vengeance. He parked the car and cautiously stepped out, his footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The gas station appeared to have been abandoned for decades, with shattered windows and rusted pumps. But what sent shivers down his spine was the sight of his own car parked at one of the pumps, as though it had always been there. Mark's mind raced, trying to make sense of the impossible. Was he trapped in some nightmarish loop? He had to escape this place, but every turn he took led him back to the same desolate gas station. Hours turned into days, and Mark's sanity began to unravel. He would catch glimpses of the hitchhiker in the shadows, always just out of reach. The man's laughter haunted his every waking moment. In the end, Mark was never seen again. His car was found abandoned at the gas station, covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. The road itself seemed to have swallowed him whole, leaving behind only whispers of a mysterious hitchhiker who appeared on foggy nights to lead unsuspecting travelers into the abyss. To this day, locals warn of the haunted road and the hitchhiker who beckons from the mist, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unexplored.